Hello there and welcome to the new channel.
Here to help you see
The new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansada.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
Yes, Argamin.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo.
I'm Dania Cunha.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Mapet Erhina.
I'm Leo Bryan. Mike.
Nice one, dear.
Sir Al Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar. This is Sunny Haldons.
Heidi Lumainos.
This is Ivan Jude.
Patrick Geronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
My name is Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
Future.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
After Shift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Danny Art Show.
Hotline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories.
Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and more.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Port Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel. Here to help you see the new you. This is a wonderful day. This is the launch of the HR Hotline 6th season. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host. Magandang hapon po. Welcome. Welcome to HR Hotline, the 6th season. And I'm proud of it that after 2 weeks break, we are back on air. But you know, a lot of things happened in the break. It was actually what do you call this? I love it. Parang I had a break and things happened so that I can have the space and the time. I would like to dedicate the 6th season of HR Hotline to my brother, my eldest brother, Jim. He died of natural death of from what do you call this? Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's. He was actually bedridden for 5 years. So I think it was the prayer of my mom and my prayer to Saint Joseph for a happy death. And I read it somewhere that sometimes sickness, lingering sickness that are not actually painful, is actually a happy death. One, it prepared my brother and it prepared us. But one thing that really pains me, and up to now I am mourning, is that I wasn't able to go home. He died during the time that it was EDSA Revolution, celebration of the EDSA Revolution. So there was no office, so I cannot really get the requirements to go home. And I am also a senior citizen, and it's so hard for me to really synchronize the time frames required by all the documents. But lo and behold, after 5 days, it was already lifted, but I already decided not to go home. We are used to this. We are used to do the virtual thing. And I was thinking that the pain is here, the empathy, the sympathy is here. But going home, again, you'll be on quarantine, and that you will be on physical distancing with people that will just create some, what do you call this, uncomfortableness. I decided to be here, but I'm going home. Maybe next week or the week after. Because I need to hug my sister-in-law. I need to hug my nieces. And I love him. I love my brother Jim. I call him Manny Boboy. And he's actually better than me. He's more talented. He can play the piano, the violin, and he was a government official in DSWD. So this is for my brother, and this is for the family who's actually grieving. But I just finished a webinar with the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, a 3-day session on stress and anger management. But I made it complete. That I included fear, stress, anger, conflict, and crisis. And they love my program. There were music, poems, advices, and then one of which is this one. How are you going to handle stress? How are you going to handle conflicts in life? But that is not our topic. Our topic for today is actually very relevant. We're still in what we call the peak of the pandemic. The government is starting to roll out the donated vaccines, but cases are also rising. Yesterday, I got tires for the other car, and I was in Bangkal, and I called up a former student of mine in Latran, and then she told me, "Why are you here? This is a critical place." So I was in the street. I was not actually moving around with people. I was also scared. Then I passed by our little bakery in Malibay. Similarly, So the cases are still up. There are places that are on the lockdown. So we're still at the peak of the pandemic. Now, why is it that I mention it? Because in the offices, in the workplace, there is what you call the positivity and the possibility of the pandemic. And one of the positivity is, it's still in the present tense, is we are able to discern and to appreciate the culture that we are in. Now that we are in what we call the alternative working arrangements, both in government and in the private sector, what surfaces or what is made obvious is the culture. And that is actually the concern of management, the concern of HR. What is the culture that is actually being developed now that we are in these alternative working arrangements? It surfaces now. A lot of stressed people, a lot of miscommunication, and people are just tolerating it. And people are also peeved, a little bit worried about it. Why? Now is the time to really review and really look into the culture that we have in workplaces. Now is the time that we must have interventions to make sure that we are ready for the now normal, for the new normal. Of course, we have discussed a lot of VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and I even added on my own a D, driven. And of course, we discussed all the antidotes for that. The visioning, the understanding, the clarity, the agility, and the, what do you call this? Digitalization. But the problem is, what is the culture that we are developing? Is it hypocrisy? Is it competitiveness? Is it the clan culture? Or these are the general types of cultures? Specifically, is it the culture of excellence? The culture of discipline? Is it the family culture that usually when you ask Filipino organization, oh, we have that family culture. Is it positive or is it negative? So this is the time that we have to look into that. In the talent management functions, one of those that we miss is actually OD. So I invited a person from the LeagueCom in PIMA who is very active to be our guest. I would like that my first guest for the sixth season is a person who is really on it. I know that he has been active in PIMA platform, and he is actually a graduate of De La Salle University. And he has been in HR for 22 years, and it's actually in the hospitality industry. So he have extensive exposure and experience in HR. He is now currently the HR partner of the Energy Development Corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Leonardo Aguinaldo, but we'll call him Al. Al, welcome to HR Hotline.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me here.
No. Actually, I should be the one to say thank you because I really would like, intentionally, I really would like to have somebody young, somebody who's in HR, to be the first guest for the 6th season, and you really fit into the call, fit into the team. Now, we mentioned to direct Marvin, who is actually the one minding us, that we'll have it on the last. But let's start our conversation with things that you would like to share with us. I know you are very much involved with Let Go. So, Director Marvin, can we have some posters so that Mr. Al here can discuss it with us? So this is the first one. What is this all about, Al?
Yes, we are here to invite everyone because actually I'm a product of Leadcom. I'm very much thankful for the opportunity that was given to me when I was invited to be a member of this leadership development program. And now it's my turn to share that experience with our other HR practitioners in the industry. So I am promoting the leadership development program of the People Managers Association of the Philippines. It's a 2-year development program para sa mga HR practitioners natin, ideally na may experience na in the supervisory role, who would want to be mentored by our HR leaders in PMAP. So it's a great way to
let me catch you, Al. Let me catch you. But first, they have to be a member of PMAP, di ba?
Yes, ideally po. Pero pwede naman po silang sumali.
Okay, well, Marvin, can we have the slide? I was just trying to ask Al. So they have to be a member of PMAP and they can join this. But for your info, Al, I am a mentor. Diba? I am a mentor.
Opo.
Okay, please continue. Sorry for interrupting.
Sige po. So, yun. So, for my colleagues who are looking for an opportunity to expand their network and be mentored by like Sir Jesse, mga top HR leaders natin in PMAP. So, please join us. And I know, katulad ko, people would want to help the community as well. So this is actually a good opportunity to share your expertise, whatever you know. Siyempre, we are all HR practitioners and we would want to share what we know and work with the colleagues in the industry. So it's a good way to help your colleagues in the HR industry through PMAP. By supporting the activities of PMAP as well.
Actually, that is what we call peer mentoring, diba? Okay. Sharing. That is actually the trend now. And for those who are actually in HR, all this live streaming, live. After that, this is actually shared. I share this. And for those who are actually not members of PMAP, they first have to be members of PMAP. And this is one of the benefits that you get. You are mentored, and you can actually, my term for that is calibrate your learnings, and then you upgrade yourself, diba? In advancing HR. Yeah, wonderful. So what is your role in the Leadcom now?
I'm currently the head of the learning sessions po. So I am organizing the learning sessions for Leadcom. So,
kaya pala you invited me for April.
And you are my first guest actually.
Anyway,
so ano lang po, palitan lang.
Anyway, it's nice kasi where can you get learnings that, diba, you have to hone your skill. One is you have to enroll into the certification program of PMAP, wherein I also teach. But the other thing is for practical learnings, you really have to have a mentor. Even now, I have mentors. Alam mo, I just mentioned it's in other association. I mentioned that I just finished a webinar in ECOP, and I mentioned that I was mentored by Rick Abadesco. And then I am so proud of it. He was the one who mentored me. If you think that I'm so good in change management, in stress management, because I was taught and mentored by Rick Abadesco. And then at this time, I have mentors. I have peer mentors. I am mentored by Fema Ricabantac for learning and development. Anything that I do, it was really something that feeling good. I just did a webinar for a government unit. It's actually an association of government directors, wherein I got a 4.9 out of 5 evaluation. Wow. So it was actually super excellent. And the reason why I had it, and I would like to really mention, it's due to my mentors. Before I have all this, what do you call this, framework or design, I call PP Obet Policarpio. I call Fema Ricabantac. Then for the younger, what do you call it, aspect, for the younger, what do you call it, source, reference, I call on Lloyd Luna. So wow. if you ask me, Al, we need mentors. We need mentors. Now in life, my mentors are actually the bishop and then the parish priest of Malate. You need mentors. Yes. So nice. That's nice that you are very much involved in the LeadCom.
Yes. At LeadCom, we believe that experience is the best teacher. And sabi nga nila, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. So it's good that you have an opportunity to surround yourself with people who have the same interest, who are committed to excellence. So nagiging good influence sila sa buhay mo.
But Al, we have to be careful. But if you do not know actually the difference between counseling, coaching, and mentoring, diba? Kasi ang mentors, there should be a program of trainers training for mentors, and then also trainers training. Coaching is actually your boss. The boss should coach, but mentor can be other people who is actually ascendant, diba? Ascendant, diba? Okay. And then the difference between mentoring and counseling. But I love this conversation. That's where we start. But before we start with our topic, there's another poster that you sent me. Director Mabin, can we have
This is actually this Saturday na po. I know everyone has been very much interested with, dahil nga sa pandemic naging very digital, and everyone is very much into AI nowadays. So for audience who might be interested, mga HR practitioners who would want to have a data-driven human resource, we are actually, the research committee of PMAP is organizing a learning session this Saturday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. So you can actually get in touch with us at the contact details on the poster, so you can participate in this learning session. Yeah. So I think
yun talaga ang tinatarayan ko ang mga HR. Yung sabi ko, you're doing analytics, you don't have data.
Actually, napakalaking benefit po yung you base your decisions on data. Mas bumibenta yung mga initiatives mo pag based on data talaga.
So I'm even telling them, if you have an HRIS, that's the system that was actually acquired before 2016, you cannot do analytics. Now the problem is, meron ka namang data, and then you don't really analyze it, di wala rin. By the way, for your info, si Mark Hernandez is watching us. Hello, Mark. Hello, mayang hapon. Are you from Visayas, Mark? And then we have Juan Lu, my friend, one of the hosts of TNAC, is watching us also. Then we have Monica watching from San Pedro. Then Pinky, actually the staff of Pops is watching us. Pinky, pakishare ito. And then we have Jemai Duki. Jemai, can you share this also to other leadcom that we have here? Before we have our first break. So let us start. So we discussed earlier about the intervention on mentoring. Okay. Now, the topic actually that I would like to discuss with you, because you have that extensive experience in learning and development and then OT. Diba? I mentioned that this is the opportune time to look into the cultures, be it a government agency, because it really surfaces now, Mark, wherein we are in what they call asynchronous, synchronous, we are on a distance, and then we can feel what is missing.
Yes.
Okay. So the first question is, how will you develop a culture now that we are in this critical situation?
Well, kailangan po clear yung management what kind of culture it wants to drive. So if tapos identify niya how he or she will reinforce that culture, kung paano niya ipapakita yon, paano niya, so maganda rin na merong basic understanding muna. So through values workshops, that helps the employee a lot have a better understanding of what the company is striving for. Currently I have an experience where my company is striving for being a regenerative company. Pero we did our research and we found out na ang impression ng mga employees pag sinabing regenerative, it's sustainable, which is maling connotation. So maganda na meron kang pulse check with your employees kung pareho ba kayo ng intindi doon sa
Okay, good. So ang gusto mong sabihin, dapat mayroon munang learning. May learning and development muna. And then, isabay ko na. Dapat management must also know. Kasi di ba culture is it top down or bottom up? I don't know. Kasi there are two schools on that. What's your quick answer? Is it top down or bottom up?
Top down. Dahil
so dapat identify. What are the leaders? Okay. We set it aside muna, Mark. It's very exciting. Set muna yung ano. So learning and development, dapat meron ka ng mga learning. So ano dapat ang ituturo?
Well, depende po yan sa competency na gustong i-advocate ng organization. So depending on the industry, it would have its own set of values as well. So you will never go wrong by pushing for your values, because that will actually sustain the organization, achieve higher levels of performance.
Talking of values, ang dami kayang kumpanya na ang values a little bit outdated. What can you say about that?
Actually ngayon this pandemic, everyone, dahil nga we become digital, kaya kailangan talaga na i-update mo yung values and capabilities ng team mo, dahil that will allow them transition this difficult time. So I agree with that.
I'm sorry kasi wala tayong preparation. Do you have ideas what are the new values, or what are the values of the new normal? Kasi di ba yung mga usual values natin is, although we still have excellence, teamworthiness, these are traditional values, but sometimes it's not even appreciated by the Selenials. Do you have? Can you give us a couple of values that are something palatable for the new normal?
I think yung being agile is actually a good value to encourage in each company because of the rate of change in our lives. So kailangan talaga everyone is very sensitive and is able to improve themselves and initiate develop their own development as well para maka-navigate ng change na to.
Okay. Kaya speaking of the number 2, may mention ako dyan. Would you believe na I do webinars in other private organization? Agile na daw. But you know yung payment, Al, 1 month pa rin. Mas mabilis pa nga yung government.
Okay.
They think that they are agile, but you know the payment is even more than the government. Magto 2 months na, hindi pa napaprocess, Diyos ko. But they are agile daw. Nako talaga. Okay. So I think agility is actually for the no. Kasi di ba digitization ka na, VUCA ka na nga, driven ka na. Oh, which is the other one? Okay, nakapag-isip ka na, which is the other one?
I think ang magandang ngayong i-pursue is being regenerative, not just being sustainable, not just looking at thinking long term. I think is a good mindset to encourage your employees, not just to think
of that's new to me, Ann. Can you repeat that? But it's not
being regenerative.
How do you spell
regenerative?
Regenerative. Regenerative.
Yes.
How do you define it? How do you define it?
It's elevating those we touch. So
now napaka-romantic. Elevating what?
It's para siyang one level up po ng sustainability. It's di ba sustainability parang dapat maging alam mo na zero waste ka lang. Pero if you're thinking of regenerative, you're thinking far into the future. How can I sustain and grow and create opportunities in the future?
Ang talino talaga. Ang talino mo, Al. Kasi a lot are doing strategic planning. A lot of people are, give yung HR business partner, you ship me on, I did that. Ang isang module dyan is actually yung business continuity na hindi nga alam na a lot of HR. This is pala more than that. This is it's more advancing.
It's thinking long-term sustainability, impacting the community. I think that is the way to go in the future. It's we are all part of a community and we all have a role to play in our communities. Diba? Hindi lang naman sarili yung iniisip natin. We want to help others as well, diba?
Yeah. And that includes a lot of things Para bang the use of plastics, the use of your products or your processes, if there is a carbon what do you call that, footprint. And then also ang kasama pa dyan is more on the soft or on the behavior or the emotional side. Are you actually forming people, developing people into a better person? Di ba baka naman yung mga HR programs ang dumating papangit ng ugali. And then, so am I right? Regenerative, it is actually encompassing all the aspects of life.
Yes, it's all dapat lahat ng shareholders nagbe-benefit. You're trying to help your everyone that you interact with improve their way of life, basically.
Tell me if I'm correct. So it's actually trying to reserve all your resources and make sure that you use it in the proper way. Parang ganun.
Opo.
So
and of course, you also invest in the future. Ano ba yung pwede mong gawin na ngayon para in the future you would have that resource to tap into, diba?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Inquire kasi that is my last corporate ano. So, ang gustong sabihin mo, it's not only the use of the paper, the use of the processes or the machine, but actually, I'm looking at the talent. Yung para bang sayang na you got people who are really talented. Parang you train them, you hone them, and you para bang you let them really stick to Inquirer kasi they can be of, I don't want to use the word use, but of course, they can contribute later on to the community. Tama ba ang ano ko?
Yes. And also maganda rin na you equip your team with the skills that will help them navigate the new industry. Halimbawa na ang newspaper industry is going digital. So it might help that you equip your teams with this capability that will equip them navigate the
not only your people within the organization, but you also try to equip and educate your client. Parang customer-centric na rin. Naku, napapaikot mo yung aking utak talaga, ha? May juice.
Actually, kami rin, we're still trying to absorb it in our company, and it's an ongoing journey.
Yeah. So at least naka-mention tayo kasi it starts with value, then values, and then dapat it should be owned by management or the leaders. And then this is where L&D comes in. Kasi dapat tuturuan mo sila. Okay. And then from that, mag-uumpisa ka na to start with the how we are going to start that culture.
Yes.
Ganun.
Well, actually, ako in my experience in learning and development, it would really help me a lot in my role pag yung recruitment did a good job in selecting people with passion. I think people with passion would at the end would help an organization succeed, because the experience ko na to firsthand when I was with my previous company, we were able to really get people who are very passionate about their craft, and that helped. Dahil totoo nga naman, you wouldn't invest so much time in something that you do not love. And if
I really admire you. Saan ka nag-aral sa De La Salle? Sino yung mga teachers mo? Turo ba sa iyo?
Actually, combination. Experience po.
Si Pipi Bong nagturo sa iyo. Makikita ko kasi tama. Kasi what you're telling us, just imagine, we're talking about learning and development, but you're mentioning here of acquisition. So that means really, you're actually yung integration of talent management, nandyan talaga sa iyo. Nandyan talaga sa iyo. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you listen to our conversation, ha? Yung nasa training, hindi lang silo-web. Nasa training ka lang.
True.
Dapat titingnan mo, teachable yung papasok. Kasi baka naman hindi teachable yung papasok, wala rin yung culture.
Yes.
That is what I was mentioning, Mark, earlier, that those are the things that we miss. And that is actually what we miss, is the integration of all these things.
Yes.
True. Kasi we're so structured, we're so silo-web talaga. Silo-web talaga. Silos. What? Say something. Yeah, we want to say something.
Well, sanay na naman ako. Pagdating sa learning and development, lahat pinapakailaman ko. So everything is a learning opportunity. Kaya
seriously speaking, diba? Hindi lang learning and development kasi diba, one aspect of talent management is leadership development also. Which is succession planning, leading to succession. How can you have materials kung talaga pagdating dun sa acquisition, wala? Diba?
Totoo. Kaya importante rin na you are clear, at lalo na actually pag mga bagong hire pa lang, talagang importante yung probationary period, that you tap on that probationary period na you make them deliver and para maset yung pace, maset yung momentum nung
you are putting again another input. That is what you call your onboarding program. Nami-miss
Yes.
din yan ang HR. So after acquisition,
Yes.
nakakuha ka ng taga De La Salle, nakakuha ka ng taga UP, tapos naman, hindi mo naman in-onboard ng mabuti, di wala
Yes.
rin.
True. Yun ang isa sa mga pansin ko na nawawala ngayon, na nawawala yung pag-tap dun sa emotion ng tao.
Right.
They'll at the end of the orientation, you would want to be the person to be very excited, very eager to contribute to the company. Alam niya kung ano yung mga kailangan niyang gawin. So I think that's a very untapped energy. So I strongly encourage everyone to make sure that your orientations are very very practical, very user friendly, and it taps the emotions of the employee.
The problem is some HR, which is the traditional HR, they think that a two or a 1 week orientation is okay. Hindi. Kasi sinabi mo probationary period. It's a period. And I teach. Ang sinasabi ko nga, tenure is 3 years. So onboarding is actually 3 years. For you to know yung potential and performer. And then after that, you can let the person go. Diba? So dapat may program ka talaga dapat yan. And that, then that siguro, you can already develop a culture.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi if you really... Diba?
Saka importante, I agree with you na sa orientation din, kailangan talaga ma-flesh out yung values ng company dahil yun yung magsaset ng tone. In my experience, pag very clear si employee about the values of the company, mas nagiging guide niya yun on how he will be behaving in the future. So, it's important that it's clear on day one kung ano yung values ng company.
And that is the problem kasi sometimes the one giving the onboarding actually doesn't have the feel of the one. Anyway, let's have first a break and then we'll come back and then continue our conversation. It's a wonderful conversation. Direct Marvin, can we have the break, please? Direct Marvin, can we have that poster so that I can invite them to all the TNC shows? Ladies and gentlemen, log on to the new channel and then watch all these wonderful live stream shows from the U-turn down to Usapang Beauty. It's class there with the time, and then just log on or visit the page of the new channel. Thank you, Director Marvin. So let us continue our conversation. By the way, before Lara Diana is here, then we have Josie. Hello, Josie. And then Pipi Obet is also here. And Mitch, good. Mitch, you will be the next guest here. Mitch is actually my mentee. I'm so proud that she's not greater than myself. Then, of course, our boss, Miss Apple Manansala. So, can we have again our guest, Mr. Leonardo Aguinaldo? Okay. So, we now have what you call review their values and make it a little bit attuned to the times, because there is actually the younger ones are in the workforce already, and then it should be owned by the leaders, by management. Okay. And you mentioned about even in the probation, there is already a sourcing and and the onboarding that should also really be looked into, so that we can have a culture. What other interventions do you think should be done?
Actually, marami. But I think it's important for the company to have a clear learning and development team who would create the modules for the whole team, for their respective departments, para lang standardized yung mga learning materials ng bawat department.
Allow me to interrupt. I like your adjective, clear. Kasi may oras, it's what is missing. It is not clear for those actually in the learning development. Correct me if I am wrong. I don't anymore advise that the people in the learning development will do training. Kasi what I told them, of course, I'm trying to protect my profession. Get a subject matter expert. What I'm telling them is that what you really need to do is come up with the career development program. Look into that. And then look into the career paths of people, those who have potential. Am I right in that direction, Mark?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's true. You look at the career potential of the employee. Maganda that you are. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure. But what you're telling me, Mark, is that, of course, the design should still be with them. They should know. Yung design is actually the programs. Para bang example is, what a learning and development team should know is, after a thorough TNA, that's a training needs analysis, following the ADI method, they have to design not actually the course outline, but the design what will be taken by a particular group. Diba? You have to, it's bawal ang judgmental, but you have to group your people. Just imagine, what are there can be a soft skill program on WAVE, that is WAVE is work attitude, and then you can add emotional intelligence, agility, and then you can even include work-life integration. You can even include. Pero ang magagawa noon, that path, is the learning and development team, and then they look for subject matter expert to input.
Yes.
Tama ba, Mike? Na ganon?
Yes, true. Kaya yun, you cannot do it all alone. Kaya kailangan mo ng support team to help you realize that. So that has been instrumental for me. Kadalasan lang na overlook is hindi mo na sa standardize, hindi mo na check yung quality ng training programs na ginagawa. So it actually helps if you at the start you prepare all the materials for all of the nagagamitin in a specific department, para you are assured na it's the same material being used over and over again.
Yeah, the point is, there should be what you call a good design, a good design,
Yeah.
and what should be followed. And then I think the check there is the chiropractic way. You don't evaluate actually the trainer or the, but you evaluate the learning. If the people are really learning, and this is a different take, and this is a different
Yes.
approach. It's a
Yes.
different approach. Now, your corporation now, your
Yes.
organization now, is it government?
No, it's a privately owned company.
I
We are in
I ask that because, pardon, I don't want to make, this
uh,
is just a sweeping statement. There is that practice wherein they just take a number of units, a number of hours just for their promotion, and that is really very poor L&D practice. Wherein there are people wherein they just take, say, they don't need, say, business writing, but they're just taking it just to fill in the number of hours so that they can be promoted, and that is not really good, diba?
oh. Actually, ang nami-miss out nga natin, lalo na this pandemic, importante yung connection. Right now we're always on Zoom, but for the team to be aligned, it's important for everyone to have that connection with each one another para it would set the pace, it would also create that commitment to deliver as well. Kaya for
You
my
know,
experience, yung connection is actually important.
all you're correct. Kasi that can be the third value. These are the new values that should be, di ba? Instead siguro of teamworthiness, it's connection. Di ba? Di ba yung team building, communication, coordination, collaboration, synergy. I think that should be changed kasi team building is actually now a function of supervisors. I think the values that should be inculcated is more on connection. I love it. I got you.
Yeah, actually, yun ang nagsusustain sa employee na to deliver dahil pag meron siyang emotional connection with his colleagues, he wouldn't want to hurt that colleague. So, and he would always try to do better because of that emotional connection with that colleague.
Oy,
So,
nandito
yun.
let me catch you. Nandito si Beth Nasol at si Sarah Tapet. Nakikinig sa atin. Yung mga bossing natin. I said, Beth, I would like to invite. All of those who are here, can you join me on Thursday? Kasi we will continue. Thursday is actually, it's actually a consultation, but let's have a consultation on this so that we can continue. And we'll ask all those who are here to give their thoughts in the chat box. So I think that one of regenerative ba yun?
Regenerative po.
And then agility, and then that one of connection. Now, let me ask you. I love this because there is just a theme, but our conversation is actually conversation. Now, how can we really develop a learning culture? Because I have a problem. Let me listen muna, Mark, so that you can hear. I did a webinar for a company wherein I'm teaching what they call this, a basic supervisory. Yung supervisor, the minimum is around 15. They come in 15, then around the next day, 4 absent themselves because there is an emergency. And then the next day, the next batch, it's so hard to get enrollees. You know what I was thinking? Parang wala yung learning culture ng kumpanya. How do you? Sige nga.
What has helped me, I always go back to my why. Bakit ko ba ginagawa ito? Pag na-internalize ko yun, that helps me navigate those difficult times. So, yun. Maganda na when we start a program, i-highlight natin what's in it for the participant. Ano ba yung mapapala niya? Ano ba yung mangyayari? Ano yung advantages ng program or no initiative? So that has helped sustain the interest as well. and making the program interactive, making it not one way would actually engage the participants better, and that would actually help sustain the interest in the program. So yun po yung mga nakatulong sa akin when I do my programs or interventions.
Okay, so what you're saying here is that talagang thorough ang training needs analysis. Wherein you talagang 360, you have to get it from the bosses, you have to get it from the people and the potential, and you have to get it siguro from the customers. And then hindi lang yung mag-dictate ka that this is actually what you need, is actually what they would like. Diba? So ito dapat ang gawain ng learning and development is to really look into that.
Yes, kaya importante rin na very what do you call this? Very we develop our training programs. It's organic, hindi siya one time lang. So as you go by, you reiterate, you change, you improve your module as the need arises, diba? You have to make it very organic.
Yeah. Anyway, I had that experience, Mark. Yung para bang, sabi ko, with that problem, you need to really have a team alignment. Because team building is actually a function of the manager of the every day. You need to have some team alignment. And you know what the HR told me? We had that, sir. Nagagawa ka naman kami. Sabi ko, when was the last time? Pre-pandemic, we had that, sabi niya. Pero sabi niya, it was an outing. Hindi nila naisip na even with the team building, there should be what you call levels. And that should what the learning and development should do. Is this team alignment for people that they have to be connected? Is this team alignment for people to know that that they know what to do? Kahit na ganun, wala yung what do you call them? Yung levels. Yung kahit na yung supervisory, wala yung levels of this is the basic, this is the more advanced, and this is the wala. So medyo yun ang kulang. Pero going back, makulit ako, so how you really instill that learning culture? Yung talaga yung tao, parang, yung TNA, pwede na yun, kasi that is what they need. What else? What else parang, should we do?
I think at the end of the day, your passion will sustain you in learning new things. Hindi ka matututo ng hindi ka mag-aaral ng isang bagay na hindi mo gusto. So maganda that you encourage all the employees to discover discover ano yung mga gusto nila about their work and how it relates to their work, because that will allow sustain the energy of learning dahil connected dun sa personality nila.
And then siguro what we should do is yung intervention, just like focus group discussion, surveys, and then trying to really squeeze from the person what are actually their plans to improve their career. Nice. Okay. Now, so balik tayo doon sa culture. Okay. So we started with values. Okay. Ano ang mga from your end? Anong mga na-identify mo na cultures that could be developed now in preparation for the new normal? Ano mga culture?
Well, digital agility is number one. So kaya importante na employees are able to navigate this new normal using the new technology, and also maganda rin yung perseverance. I think it's very easy for us to fall into the trap na hindi natin magagawa to dahil pandemic. Pero pero maganda na encourage natin yung sarili natin. Kung hindi ko 'to magagawa, ano yung pwede kong gawin? Para ma-achieve ko pa rin yung mission ko. So,
alam mo, Al, I would like to mention again, I've been mentioning this. You know Cecil Cecil Terrible of Balay Isabel?
yes.
You know, well, I invited her in this program, and she mentioned about the quick change in Balay Isabel, from a resort to a spa to a quarantine to an isolation to selling online. So sabi ko, ang hirap kaya nung HR mo, trainer mo, and everything in involved in the changing of the mindset, di ba?
Kailangan talaga eh. If you want to survive, 'di ba? At the end of the day, 'di ba? It's a business and you need to pay the salary of the people. So kaya kaya importante talaga that you try to encourage everyone in the team to think of ideas to help the company achieve its goals, 'di ba?
So, yung ang tanong nun, that is what you mentioned, yung the culture of perseverance or resilience or the culture of, so ang kulit-kulit ko na, paano mo yun may turo? Kasi sabi nga ni Femery Kabangta, there are things that you cannot teach kasi that has to be caught, di ba? Nakuha ko yun there are things that you cannot teach that has to be caught. So kung ganun, paano kaya natin maturo yan? Yun na this question, itatanong ko yan sa Thursday. Gusto ko si Beth Nasol ang sumagot. And si Ove. Pero ngayon sagutin mo, paano mo kaya may turo yun?
Nakakatulong po na yung environment sa team na is psychologically safe. Pag alam ng empleyado na he or she can approach anyone in the management team to suggest his or her ideas, I think that actually helps sustain that culture of perseverance na pwede kong i-share yung idea ko. And also, keeping the team looped in kung ano yung goal that is that the company is trying to achieve is actually helpful. Dahil I believe that we come up with the best ideas pag pinagsasama-sama natin yung ideas natin. So, yun, making everyone in the team count is actually a good way to encourage that culture.
Yes, spot on. So ang gusto kong sabihin, one is transparency. Dapat wala na yung confidential. Yung parang bang, where are we listening to? Secret, parang gano'n. Ano mangyayari sa atin? I don't know. May plano ang management, pero I don't know. Pero mga gano'n. You're not really inculcating perseverance and that volunteerism.
Sayang yung energy, sayang yung opportunity when we actually do not empower our employees to contribute to the bottom line.
Yeah, I remember there was a module that I was teaching on design thinking. Then I led to open space technology. Diba, how can you do this design thinking and open space technology kung hindi mo rini-require yung iyong team to contribute, diba? Tama ba ako? These are some interventions that we are doing, and these are something new. And this is actually, tama ka nga na, yun nga, for ang lalim mo, for perseverance, ang sagot doon, dapat, you have to be transparent and let them contribute. Kasi paano nga mag-persevere kung hindi niya naman alam?
You have to create space na okay lang na mag-suggest, okay lang na magkamali. So, yun, that actually helps.
And I think, Al, we have to go beyond the usual, what do you call that? Yung suggestion box. Kasi that's diba? We really have town halls and FGD siguro.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
okay. Nag-over na tayo. Before we ask you for your parting message, one last question. So now at the correct me, energy, your now in the Energy Development Corporation, can you share with us what is your learning and development initiatives, and what is the culture that you would like to develop? Galing sa'yo. Sige. Sige, go. Before you di ba you are the HR, you are the partner. Okay. Now for the Energy Development Corporation, ano yung mga learning initiatives mo leading to developing of a culture? Now what do you do now?
Right now, we are focusing on building the capabilities of our teams. So we feel that to sustain the growth of the company, kailangan nandun na yung capabilities ng bawat employee to bring it to the next era. So yun ang visioning. Iniisip na namin kung ano yung mga skills na kailangan ng team namin and capabilities to bring the company forward. So yun capability building ang ginagawa na namin.
And then the culture that you would like to develop? If you
the culture that we it's being agile, being able to develop, continue to learn and develop and learn from the feedback of everyone, iterate from time to time and deliver results on a regular basis. Yun po yung ginagawa.
You know what you just mentioned. I remember in one event last year, the question was, what is the future of learning and development? And there were a lot of answers. And as one of the listeners, I was answering them. Which, of course, I read it also. The future of learning and development is actually the trainers. What you teach them now. And what you teach them now is not actually now what you teach them about the future. And that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing at Energy. Yeah.
Well, actually, I believe that the future of learning is dapat nagiging self-directed. Right now, with the that everyone easily gets distracted, maiksi na ang attention span ng mga tao. We believe na you would always pursue the things that you love and you care for. So kaya importante talaga na nandun yung connection doon sa passion mo at saka yung ginagawa mo, dahil that will actually sustain you to learn more and develop more.
Yeah, wonderful conversation, Al. And it's so nice because we are really conversing. That's why I told you we should not have prepared questions so that you actually I would like to invite you again, and I would like to invite everybody on Thursday. Let's have the consultation, and then it's leading into this. Join us, okay? And then you can just put your insights on the chat box. Okay. So before you go, can we have your parting message to the listeners?
Oh, well, that actually the true treasures of an HR career is the people that you meet along the way. So at the end of the day, people will remember how how helpful you are, how kind you are. So yun yung yun yung gusto natin na iwan na legacy. So at the end of the day, we are just people trying to be kind to others and help others in the process. So
thank you, Mr. Leonardo Aguinaldo, or in short, very active in the LeadCom, and then what a gem! I didn't ask him his age, but I can see that he is young, but full of insights and learnings. You can just see from the person himself, and you can just actually look at the sincerity, and then what you call that, yung direction, yung mindset niya, and it's all positive. Just imagine too young a person trying to look into sharing what he actually knows. At kung sa talent management framework, he's already on what we call fulfilled. That is why he's already sharing it on. That is the problem actually with a lot of those in HR or in training, wherein you are still in that stage of developing and trying to be competitive. And then that is actually the paradox, wherein you try to develop people, you try to ensure that people grow, but you yourself is not yet there and you're still full of yourself. So I love it, Al, because I can see that you are on that stage wherein I don't know if quickly or your DNA or your experience that it is there. You are now in that stage wherein you would like to make it right, doing it right, and then sharing what you know for the growth of your company and for the growth of the HR profession. Going back to the topic, yes, it is very important that what I'll mention, clarity. Life is so complex. Do not make it complex. Clear learning and development directions. I got it. Diba? And then I mentioned the design, how you're going to do it. And then he mentioned that it's not actually you doing it, but you have to make sure that there is what we call the calibration, that the quality. He mentioned that the quality. And that's actually the job of the 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 learning and development. Then also, again, how can we start with culture? It is a very long story. And it is still basically, it should come from the leadership and it should come from values. We didn't even mention about the mission and the vision. That will be a long story. We just started with the values. And then I jumped it right away. Now, let us try to change the tradition. Of course, it's still there. Excellence should still be there. But let us try to update it with what is palatable to the new generation and wonderful sharing of all the three values that he mentioned and then that we conversed. And that is where we start. So it is important that we do the proper intervention, think about it, and list that I forget, integrate it from your acquisition down to your training, down to your goal, what you would like it to be. So learning and development and OD, maybe it's the string that pulls it all together. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes.
So wonderful conversation. It's nice. We have Beth Nassau, we have PPO Beth, Joe and Rosie listening to us. And yes. So, yes. Thank you very much. It was a
Thank you, sir.
wonderful start for the 6th season of HR Hotline. And it's actually spot on. We actually discussed what should be focused on by HR nowadays. So thank you very much, Al. See you.
Thank you, sir.
And then I hope you will.
Wala.